Welcome, Getmore Sithole. You told me that your book has been launched. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling fantastic. I mean, this this feels surreal. It's been 5 years in the making, and when I completed the book in June, I felt like I was on cloud nine to have worked all those 4 years doing the research in philosophy, in science, in theology works, and now finally to have a look at the actual product and say, this is what I've worked through to produce. It's just wonderful.
I think for our viewers, let me grab a copy of the book.
Yes, indeed. So they can have a squeeze and see what it is we're talking about.
Lest they think that we're faking it. The book is real. It is entitled Bible Controversies Unpacked. From my personal experience, I've read many Bible study guides, but I haven't come across to someone who deals with controversies in the Bible. Even I've many times felt like this is a no-go area, especially for a Christian, to ask some of the questions that this book deals with. But actually, this book goes into those topics. I'll give you an example. I'm looking at the table of contents. Sorry, you cannot really see it clearly, but I'll just give you a highlight of what's in the table of contents. Is Christianity the right religion? How many of you out there, you're a Christian or you're not, but you're asking, this thing that I'm believing in, is it real? Is it genuine? Listen to this one. This is chapter 2. Does God approve of polygamy? Is that not interesting? Because nowadays people criticize polygamy, but we see that in the Bible, King Solomon, the wisest man to ever live, had 700 wives and 300 concubines, 1,000 women to himself. But today we hear that you should have one man, one wife.
Correct.
So for me, I think I might actually start with that chapter before I go to the other chapters. Okay. Right. Chapter 3 looks at slavery in the Bible. Yes, that's another difficult one where you see slavery in the Bible, but you know that slavery is not great. So then there's another one that talks about God versus science. That's quite a controversial one.
Very thought-provoking.
Where do you draw the line between science and God? And can science really prove all the things that God does? So
the existence of God. Yeah.
There's even about dinosaurs. Those ones I even find it scary to read.
Try and delve into that.
Yeah, thinking dinosaurs were here a million years ago, but we don't see the Bible being there for more than 1 million years. Homosexuality, submission in marriage, unforgiveness. Wow. Well done, Getmore. I think the viewers will enjoy the book. But if I can put you on the spot, I want you to give me one reason for a believer and one reason for a non-believer to buy and read this book.
Okay, well, for a believer, I believe that there's still so many areas in the Christian faith that believers are not very comfortable discussing. An example is the very area that you touched on. Chapter 3 speaks about slavery in the Bible. And just because slavery happens to be in the Bible does not mean that God approved of it. So this is something that we need to be able to separate and say, okay, so why exactly is it there in the Bible? Was God prescribing that it's correct, or was the Bible simply describing what happened at a particular place in time? So that's crucial for Christians to understand. There are certain things written purely as reportage, just like when you buy a newspaper, it reports on what has been done, but it doesn't either approve or disapprove anything. It simply describes what happens. So the Bible likewise has got areas or sections in the Bible where God is simply describing what happened at a point in time. So it's historical. Then there are certain sections of the Bible where God actually prescribes. In other words, this time he's saying, this is an instruction, this is how you ought to do things. So those are some of the things, the nuances that Christian folk ought to understand before they can make a conclusion to say, yeah, look, God approves of slavery because it's in the Bible. So that's number one for believers. Then for a non-believer, why would a non-believer buy this book? This book sets the record straight in terms of a number of areas really where the Bible, rather, a non-believer would want to know about the existence of God. Is God real? And what evidence do we have that points to the fact that there is really an ultimate reality, which is God? And so in chapter 1 and chapter 5, which asks the question, is there a contradiction between God and science? I deal with those types of questions where the evidence is overwhelmingly in the corner of the Christian, if I could put it that way. There's an overwhelming evidence that shows the existence of God. So one of the areas that a person who is not a believer would want to delve into would be chapter 5, because it clearly removes the scales, removes the covers that have for many years, indeed for time immemorial, many who didn't have the sort of information that is captured in chapter 5, you will find it will shed the light for you to begin to understand that truly there is a God, because there's a lot of evidence that has been placed in that particular chapter.
Wow. I think I love this. I think where I see this book being different from many that I've read, it doesn't sound like this is a sermon or a preaching to convert someone to become a Christian or to join a particular church. It sounds to me more like informative and educational.
Absolutely.
And I find that amazing. That's why it's able to accommodate both Christians and non-Christians, because both groups can learn from this book.
So much.
There's no intention specifically to say, I'm pushing an agenda for you to read this book, but you want to inform. So that when someone makes a decision, they make an informed decision. Is that analysis correct?
Precisely. I think the information in the book is very objective, in the sense that there's information that's verifiable. So the unbeliever who has had many unanswered questions relating to the Bible, when they do their own research, they will be able to say, look, what the book is saying can actually be substantiated. There's a whole range of books out there that you can access that will delve into the very areas that the Bible speaks about. And for a person who's an unbeliever, sometimes there's always the notion or the feeling that, you can't really go with the Bible or use the Bible to substantiate or confirm the Bible itself. But I would want to differ. And in fact, the book sheds light on that as well, because the very word Bible comes from a Greek word which comes from a Latin term that means a library. So before the book that we call the Bible was put together, it was a series of manuscripts that were gathered from different sources and put together to produce a Bible. So in the same manner in which you can go to a library to access different books, when you go to a Bible, you are actually accessing a library of information, or a library of topics, a library of different stories, historical, some poetic, and some theology. So it's incorrect to then say that, when you use the Bible to back up the Bible, it's circular reasoning. It is not. because the Bible is a library.
Wow. There it is for you. Getmore Sithole has told you about the book. Grab a copy for yourself. I believe if you inbox him, you can manage to get an order, and he promises to deliver to your doorstep. Maybe you can provide viewers with the WhatsApp number where they can place the orders for the book.
Sure. WhatsApp as in Getmore.
Where they can.
Okay. WhatsApp 084 421 0305. And should you be interested also in the blog, because we have a blog that further substantiates some of the things that are in the book in point form. So we have nitpicked certain critical points from the book that you might want to look at and review. It is Getmore Sithole. www.getmoresithole.wixsite/blog. getmoresithole.wixsite/blog.
Wow, awesome. Thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, viewers.